the Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and you know I've been promising you for months and months now that we're going to do workshops. And we did do one last fall. We did Jody Bargerstock's Alcohol Inc. workshop. It was kind of our get your feet wet time. And so now our feet are wet, and so we're ready to roll. And so we are excited to announce a whole bunch of workshops beginning right now, starting almost immediately. And this will not stop. This will continue ongoing. We intend to just keep rolling the workshops out. One of the very first ones that we're going to be starting with is being done with the man that's with me today. If you know Arvil Sale, you know he's probably involved with kids a lot of times, with scouts and with school and teaching and all of that kind of thing. And one of your specialties, especially in the summertime, is handicrafts of various sorts.
Yes, I go to camp in the summers, and I'm in charge of an area that includes basketry, wood carving, leatherwork, metalwork, Indian lore, just a lot of different things. And so so I've been kind of interested in crafts for a long time. So our first workshop that we're going to kind of roll out here is one that really appeals to maybe people 12 years old and older.
Right.
We're going to be using a round loom.
And creating these. And
we're going to create toboggans or beanies and this round loom knitting is an old craft, probably back as far in pioneer times. Somebody figured this out, and it allowed when a child became 3 or 4 years old and could handle repetitive kinds of things, they might need a pair of socks, and so they might be knitting their own socks. And this eliminates trying to manipulate needles and
two needles, yeah,
and everything going around. And I did this with a group of students that I worked with a couple of years ago, and it is real successful, and the outcome is you can make a toboggan, you can make a scarf, you can have toboggan and scarf to match if you were really into those kinds of things. And in this is a 3-session workshop that and should be able to finish at least a hat by the time the third session rolls around, and it's kind of fun to do. It's also a time you can just sort of socialize and enjoy being around all the other folks that are there. And
once you learn how to do it, you can continue this on your own if you want to do that. And now you're providing the fee for this particular workshop is $25. It includes all 3 sessions, and then there's a $5 material fee, and you're going to be providing acrylic yarns, is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be acrylic yarns. Those are pretty hypoallergenic, and actually this hat is made out of wool, but it's a little scratchy when you start to wear it.
Right.
And but the
acrylics are softer.
Acrylics are softer, and they don't. People don't tend to react to those. And we'll be doing. I'm not sure exactly what kind of yarn we're going to be. I mean, what colors.
Yeah.
That'll be something that I'll have to go and see what we could find. We kind of like the ones that make natural stripes. Those seem to be pretty interesting. Or multicolored ones, like this one where it blends together and makes sort of a multicolored kind of
more interesting
hat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but they'll come in, all they have to do is show up, have paid their fee, and they just come in, and you're going to provide the loom and everything else.
In order to get them started, let them learn, see if they enjoy it. We've got a loom that generally will fit, one size fits most. You know how those things are. But yes, we'll provide those in the little hook, and they'll be able to use those for the duration of the session. And if they really like it, then they can get their own materials and do it at home. A I was talking with a parent yesterday, as a matter of fact, one that I had done this with, and she said, yes, her son got really interested in this, and he came home and made everybody in the family hats. He's made hats to sell, those kinds of things. And so it is a skill that you can bring with you.
That's great. And then these workshops will start at 6 o'clock and go till 7 o'clock, starting on February the 20th. And as he said, there's 3 sessions, so 3 different weeks. And then at 7 o'clock, you're going to shift gears and you're going to go from soft stuff to hard stuff.
Right. We're going to move from the knitting to wood carving. Now, wood carving is a traditional Appalachian craft. It's something that most folks say, well, I wish I knew how to wood carve. Well, these 3 sessions that we're going to do in wood carving will teach basic cuts, basic safety, how to use the tools. We will be providing a carving glove and a knife to use on site.
A carving glove protects your hand.
Does help you with the safety aspect of it. And we'll be doing a lot of different things. I think probably, and this is kind of a project that once you learn how to do that, the carved flowers make kind of an interesting bouquet that lasts forever, and that helps us to teach basic wood carving skills, the manipulative part of it, and then we'll probably launch into a couple of other projects. One of the projects that we're going to do is an owl, and there are a couple of different kinds of owls. This is an owl sitting on a stump, and this is sort of an owl that could be a magnet on your refrigerator.
It's flat on the back, yeah.
It's flat on the back. That's another type of owl that I think people will enjoy doing. And then the traditional wood spirit that people use on canes, and it's have sort of become a sign of the Appalachian culture to some degree. Those can be turned into Harry Potter wizards and all kinds of things.
Yes,
And we have other kinds of carvings and things to do that once you kind of learn the basics. This is a Moravian star carved out of a block of wood, and working with the Scouts, we do a lot of, used to be the neckerchief slide, and but it also provides a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things, so that we may not get to all of these this time, but
you'll know how, or to get
you'll
started.
be able to get started, and it'll give you an opportunity. And other whimsies that are kind of interesting, and this might lead to a second go in the workshop world, is the wooden balls and boxes and wooden chains and things like that that always are interesting to folks.
That's going to be fun to put that together. And then the Arts Council's having a exhibit in July that we're calling Would You Believe It, WOOD. And maybe some of your students are going to get skilled enough to enter some of their work in that exhibit and be able to share some of their wood carvings with us.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, they might enjoy doing that.
I asked you off the air, what is the difference between whittling and wood carving? Because I think that a lot of people kind of get a little confused about the differences between the two.
Well, the way I view it, whittling is, and if you ask a mountain man, this is also whittling. But whittling is you tend to, or when we do it around the campfire, you pick up a stick and you take your knife and you whittle away from yourself, and you make lots of wood chips, and you might make a toothpick, or you might carve the end of your hot dog stick or something like that. And wood carving tends to be, you have a project in mind. When I started with this block of wood, it was a square, straight piece of wood, and so I looked at it and I said, oh, and I want to make an owl out of it, so, what do I need to take away? And I had a specific goal in mind, so I think that's really the kind of the difference between whittling and wood carving is, when I start whittling, you never know what you're going to come out with. when you start wood carving, you generally have some idea of where you want to go.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it leads to more fine art kinds of things. And you see lots of bigger objects, people who carve ducks, or people who carve birds, or people who do whimsical people or whatever. And so you really specialize. But what we're going to do is kind of give you some skills, because wood carving is one of those activities you get better at it the more you do it, and you try things. You might not, I admittedly, when I was teaching myself to carve years ago, I picked out something and I did it several times until I was satisfied with it, and then I moved on to the next thing.
Right.
And over the years, it's kind of developed into a different frame of reference.
Right, and you're going to start them out on projects that are achievable, that are
Right.
something they can accomplish in the 3 weeks that you're going to be teaching.
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So that way, this will be a $60 fee, but it will include the use of Arvil's tools, and you'll also have your wood provided for you as well. So there's really nothing you have to bring with you. You just show up and enjoy the class. And then if they decide they really want to do it, you'll help them figure out what tools they want to have and how to get those tools
Right.
and so forth.
Yes.
But it gets something that you can give. This is a lot of the workshops we're offering are giving you an opportunity to try on something, see if it fits you. Do I like wood carving? Do I want to do this more, or do I want to just do it one time for 3 weeks and then say, I'll do something different? So it just depends on each individual as what you're going to like. And so we're going to have a lot of things you can pick from. Let me quickly tell you, we're also going to have a class in drawing with Catherine Marks. This will be an ongoing class that will work for 8 to 14-year-old children. And so you'll pay by the month and just keep coming every month as long as you want to do that. Joanne Pippin is going to be offering 3 workshops. 2 of them are for artists. One is about how to keep up with your inventory, record keeping for artists, and the other one is making digital images from paintings, because artists have to have digital copies of their work these days to be able to email out samples and that kind of thing, to put on Facebook, to put on their website, all kinds of reasons to have digital images. And so she's going to show you some skills about that and how to make those look much better. She'll be teaching how to paint flowers and watercolor. So if you've been wanting to try watercolors, this would be a great chance to get started in watercolor, and specifically with flowers as a topic. And then Susan Farrow is going to be teaching Art and Soul, Connecting to Your Deeper Self, which is kind of an experiential involving both yoga and expressive arts and all kinds of techniques with that. And then Pat Morris is going to teach you how to make garlic baskets, little small baskets. I'll be bringing those in to show you later. And then after you've taken Arvil's class on knitting with the round loom, you might want to try with needles. Donna Levitt is going to be teaching beginning knitting with needles, and her class will teach you how to make a headband, but you're going to learn several different stitches in the process, so you'll have some variations along the way as you're doing it. So it's a great chance, and actually as I put this list together, I had 4 or 5 more artists that contacted me with more classes they're going to be offering, so I'll be coming back with many more. But Arvil, you're going to be the very first one. They got to get signed up pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah.
February the 20th is not far away.
It's
Today
really
is tomorrow is February the 1st. So go ahead and give the Arts Council a call and
Yes.
get your name on the list. Go by, and it would be wonderful to have a good full class. It's fun to get together and end up with and see what you can make, because I know that this is something you can do.
Right, anyone can do it. If they want to do it, they can do it.
Right.
Yeah. And you can sign up by either calling us, as he said. You can come by the Blue Ridge Art Space. We'll be happy to sign you up. And then also you can go to our website, watauga-arts.org, and you can sign up online. So you don't even have to come out if you don't want to. But you definitely want to be there at the Blue Ridge Art Space. Now remember, we're located at the corner of Shadowline and State Farm, which is very easy to get to in all kinds of weather. And so you'll be able to come and enjoy these classes. It's a great thing to do this time of the year, to get involved in something like this.
Oh yeah, it's good to get out, and as I told somebody the other day, I need to go home and make something. Because you can only sit and watch so much TV, play so many video games. Especially when, like for the students, they've been out of school now for several days, and mom and dad are saying, well, now what can I do? What can we find for them to do? Because they're getting bored.
Right.
Well, these kinds of things are things that they could pull out, learn how to do, and then pull out in the future when they need something different to do.
And let's go back over the age groups too. Now you're going 12 and up for the knitting.
Yes.
And 14 and up for the wood carving, just
Yes.
because of the skills that are involved with that.
Right, yeah. Those are good ages, and a 14-year-old can do this, and so can a 60-year-old.
Yes, exactly. So anyone of any age can come and enjoy it. And this is kind of, it's one of those neat things, you know, I think of wood carving in particular as a multi-age skill, you know, that your grandfathers taught your kids how to do, that kind of thing. It's just something that's an intergenerational thing that kind of unites generations sometimes in a very positive way.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, and in the summers when I teach wood carving, I will have 25 or 30 folks
Knife welding with
in
little boys.
one room, and we do that 5 hours a day in the summer times, because that's something that
Yeah.
lots of folks want to learn how to do. And I understand there is a wood guild here, or a wood carving group that meets
Yes.
over at the Cove Creek
Community
Seniors
Center.
Community Center on Tuesday mornings, where folks get together and they, you know, pick out projects and just carve. So wood carving is something that a lot of people enjoy, and a lot of the magazines I get, a lot of times it'll feature someone in there. Well, I started carving when I retired, and now I do this, you know, and I'm teaching classes, and of course they've written an article for the carving magazine, or they've been the subject of an article because they've advanced their skills. So starting early is a good thing, but it's never too late. Right. If you've always wanted to wood carve, this would be a good place to start.
It certainly would. And also, you know, I was thinking about it, Arvil, that the cost of taking this class in weaving or knitting these beanies or toboggans is not far from the cost you'd expect to pay for a pre-made thing, but you've made it yourself.
Right.
And then you can make multiple ones. And so it's a really cool thing to be able to wear something that you made and to be able to say to folks, you know, thank you, I made it myself. And then give it away as gifts, that kind of thing. So this is really something that'll be valuable to people on an ongoing basis as well.
Well, I think so. It's, you know, for those of you who are old enough to remember, there was such a thing called macrame.
I remember
and
that.
Macrame is actually coming back a little bit from what I'm hearing, but we've been tying knots forever, and all of a sudden survival bracelets became real popular, and survival bracelets are nothing more than macrame.
Yeah.
Well, this knitting has been around forever. The round loom knitting went away. I'd never seen one until a few years ago when they started reintroducing those, and somebody was making them out of wood, and they were on the internet, and it was a little group out of Canada, and they were using them to make the little hats for the newborn babies at the hospital, the Girl Scout group.
Right.
And all of a sudden, then looms started appearing everywhere, and now you can get the plastic ones, and they're a whole lot less expensive than the wooden ones. And so it comes back. So knowing crafts and crafts you can share is a real important kind of thing.
Yeah, and this will get you started, and then we'll have more opportunities for you to learn other crafts as
Right.
well. We've already been talking about other ideas of classes and workshops that Arvil may be offering in the future as well, and other folks as well. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of artists that are already signed up to work with us, and more signing up every day. And so this is something you want to do. You want to become a regular at the Blue Ridge Art Space and come and learn lots of new skills and lots of new things.
Well, it's always interesting wanting to learn new things. And it was real interesting. I saw a class, and I think the class is full now because I didn't see it until it was kind of late, but how to carve wooden bowls and spoons and things like that. Well, you know, not that I plan to do that for a living, but I've always wanted to know how to do that. So that, you know, so it's always wanting to expand your your toolbox, I guess.
And give you something to do besides, like you said, video games or watching TV. So I really hope you're going to come and become a part of this. Come and get involved with a lot of things we do at the Art Space. There's lots of really cool things happening all the time. It's a cool place to be. And so come and check it out, watauga-arts.org for this and so much more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.